Me, Christian from Casually Christian for my midweek Hump Day update. Back from Palm Springs, back from my vacation, and what can I say? I wish I was still on. I was still over there, man. But yeah, it was incredibly warm over there. Like we left on Thursday, and it was just very. It was warm without it being humid, which I guess was okay. But it was just like just being like in the oven all the time. Like I just wanted to go inside. But I guess the way let me start from the beginning. Like the way our trip began, like we dropped off the dogs at my mom's house and they were tripping out a little bit, but eventually my mom said that they got used to it, and before we knew it, like they were fine. They were just fine chilling at my mom's house. And yeah, like we didn't know like what to expect in the hotel room, and it turns out it was like a two-bedroom hotel room. It was kind of like an apartment. It was set up like an apartment, so it just felt like we were just going somewhere else to stay, like at a friend's house. So since we had like a two-bedroom, another room, I was thinking about like who can I call over to take advantage of this, because it would be a waste to have like an extra bedroom not being occupied. So the only person I was able to get on the first night was my friend Eric, and he lived about 30-40 minutes away from Palm Springs, so it benefited him to it didn't take too much from his day to get to us. And he wasn't working for the day, and he came down on Thursday night. And since he was already like well versed on the town of Palm Springs, he showed us around the first night. And first night we went bar hopping because that's what you do. So also before we went bar hopping, they had this annual music or vendor festival like on the main street. So it was like 3 or 4 blocks of just vendors, just selling knickknacks, custom stuff, and it was very cute. And what I liked about that town is that every guy like was wearing this fucking shirt, the Hawaiian shirt. Everybody was just like wearing sandals, totally like just on chill mode. And they were just all old white guys, like retired dudes, retired gay dudes. And the instant we go to these shops, like when we first got there, they were just playing classic rock and roll music. And it was a very like easy vibe. You know what I mean? Like what's that guy who sings Margaritaville? Damn, I'm spacing. It's very like that vibe. Just like it's like Palm Springs is like a beach town without the beach. It's just the pools. But yeah, like as we were checking out the street fair, I was looking for something to buy because I wanted something that I couldn't get back home, and I was looking at the shirt, and the shirt of the Chavo del Ocho, and like the Chavo, it was like an animated Chavo del Ocho, and he was like serving like noodles to his friends. And I was about to get that shirt, but something told me to just hold off on it. And as I kept on walking, I finally found something that that caught my eye, and it was totally in my price range. I bought like this, what's it called, this puppet. It was what's it called? What's my puppet? A mongoose, John? Well, it's a sloth. Yeah, it's a sloth. It's a sloth puppet, and I it just caught my eye. I was like, well, I never see this around, like over here in my town. So I bought it, and it's something else to continue in my puppet collection. So I thought that was like fate right there. It was like at the very last shop too. But oh yeah, Jimmy Buffett. It was a very Jimmy Buffett town. My There's even a hotel, like a hotel resort called Margaritaville, and it had like a parrot as a mascot. Very cool. And so after we were done with the street fair, we went bar hopping, and my friend Eric, he showed us all the gay bars in Palm Springs, and it was all like located in this one street. For this for these 3 or 4 bars that we went to, kind of like Broadway in Long Beach or like Santa Monica Boulevard. It was just like a street of gay bars, but it wasn't like flashy like Long Beach or West Hollywood. It was very like low key. But so, and then he was telling us like, I know of this bar that's underwear night. And then like I was like, what do you mean? And it's like, well, you check in your clothes in the counter, and you could just walk around drinking beer or your drink only in your underwear if you want. And and of course, the guys wanted to go. It's like I was self conscious. I'm like, is it mandatory to be in your underwear? And Eric told me, it's like, no, it's not mandatory, but it's just like, if you want to, you'll check in your clothes and just, be on your, your undies. And he partook, and I didn't partake. I was just looking at all the butts. And they were mostly older dudes, and there were a couple young guys, but it was just kind of weird, just people just drinking beer with their underwears out, and the beers were like, the drinks were really inexpensive too. There was like decent, like I was ordering the gin and tonics over there, and instead of giving you like in a small glass, they gave you like in a tumbler. And the way they filled up the gin, it was like he was filling Sprite, it's like it's like, geez. So like, it didn't take me too long to get faded. And another cool thing about that bar is that there's a patio. So people were smoking, where they were smoking weed. And it was the first time I was at a bar, where people were hanging out in their underwear, drinking and smoking weed, like openly. And I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool, But when that first night came to an end, we went home, and we got some McDonald's. So that was the first night. And then the second night, like, my friend Eric had to leave because he could only stay there for one night. And we ended up going to the Palm Springs Museum. And that was fun. That's something I really wanted to do, is just like do something just chill. You just walk around and look at stuff in AC, and it was nice. There was like four levels of just like art and exhibits, and I was making fun of some art pieces because they looked like art pieces from TJ Maxx, And it was just very like, so I seen this before, It's nothing. I know the guy probably took a long time to like, finish it, to do it, and that's like his passion. But it just seemed like I could hang this up in my restroom, but we were there for about 40 minutes, maybe 60 minutes. And it wasn't too inexpensive. It wasn't too expensive either. It was like, it ended up being like, for four of us, $42. And there was no time limit. You could just stay there and just scope out the exhibits. And yeah, there was a lot of pieces that I took a lot of photos of that day when we went to the museum, and I'll eventually upload it on my Instagram and on Casually Christian. And I've been also, I recorded these videos too, and we're gonna show you guys what videos of Palm Springs too, with my voice narrating the footage. So stay tuned for that. But after that, like after we were done with the museum, we ended up going to the movie theater. And because like there's like really not much to do, it was like, we did like, there's things to do, but the things that you want to do, you had to spend money, and like we were still on the budget. We For breakfast we ate cheap, and for dinner, that's when we dropped down the bucks. But yeah, for like breakfast, we made chorizo and eggs. We went to McDonald's, Jack in the Box. And anyways, so after we got back, after we were done with the museum, we hung out for a little bit, and then we ended up going to the movie theater to watch Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness. And I got to tell you, I love that movie more than the that last Spider-Man with all the three Spider-Mans. It surpassed my expectations. It was really good, because the director Sam Raimi, that was like his style. Like, he was like everything that, because he directed the Army of Darkness. And if you guys watch that movie, if you haven't watched Doctor Strange, you're gonna watch Doctor Strange and see all everything that he's known for in Doctor Strange. And it's a really, it made me feel pretty good. Like, it gave me like the special feeling to see like like his eye, like in his 25-year career, like all in this major motion picture. Which, like, he directed the first Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, and you did see some of his stuff in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. But for Doctor Strange, like, it was totally Army of Darkness. Like, this other one where like it took place in the woods is either, it's not Cabin Fever, it's something else. It was something that takes place in the cabin. But Sam Raimi, man, like, he really, like, it was really good. And Elizabeth Olsen, the Wanda girl, the Scarlet Witch. She was really good, dude. She was really good. I don't want to spoil anything, but I didn't suspect the villain. I didn't understand. I didn't know anything about the movie other than it was directed by one of my favorite directors, and it had Doctor Strange. And but it was really good. It was, and also one of the main characters, she was like Latina, and she, like, and her mom, like her mothers were like lesbians. It was like, it was really cool. It was like, it was it was diverse. It was a diverse movie that for 2 hours, not even 2 hours, the movie was an hour and 30 minutes, but for like an hour and 30 minutes, like the outside world did not exist. You were just watching that movie, and it was a great ride. And I highly recommend that movie. If you guys go watch it, you guys should do that, as soon as you can. But let's see what other things that I've been watching. Well, let's continue with Palm Springs, because that's still a Palm Springs story. But eventually we ended the our adventures over in Palm Springs. We went to this tram ride, because it took you up like 10,000 feet towards the top of the mountain, and we bought the tickets, and we also bought the dinner package too. Which the dinner was okay. It was like, it was cafeteria food. You know what I mean? You just point at it and they give it to you like in a nice plate, but it was kind of like lukewarm. But anyways, like the ride towards the top of the mountain, it was trippy, because like you had the tram, like you pass by these 5 towers, and every time you pass by the tower, they it would rock you back and forth, and each one got progressively more intense, and the guy narrating the whole ride, he was like, it's kind of like the Disneyland guy, it's like, hey, back in 1662, and like yeah, he threw his personality into the ride, and it was just very trippy, because like everything was just like, we live in such a like synthetic world where everything, like these experiences, they're like built for our enjoyment, that when you actually go to a place that exists because of mother nature, it's trippy to see. And like as soon as we got on top of the mountain, we ate our stuff, and after that we ventured outside to explore. And dude, like the temperature drop was drastic. It was 103 in the bottom, but when we were on top of the mountain, like in the valley, it was a brisk 58. Like I wanted a jacket. It was cold. And like you could see like the whole, like you go out, you see like the whole like landscape, the view. It was like majestic. It was what I wanted. It's what I wanted to do during my trip, is to see something that great. And so we scoped out the view, and then we eventually went on one of the trails, and it took you to this like forest valley, and like they had redwoods, and it was just like it's trippy to see everything's just there. Like it's there because of mother nature. It's not there because man put it there. It's always going to be there and always existed. And to go just go nature walking, it was surreal, it was fun. But however, because of the elevation, I didn't know the elevation was going to fuck with my blood pressure. And as we were coming back up from our hike, going back up in the mountain, it was like it was easy going back and going down, because you're just walking down. When we're going up, it fucked with my anxiety and my blood pressure, and I had to stop a couple of times, because I'm like, why am I feeling dizzy? Why I'm feeling very, very odd, like I'm about to have a panic attack. I'm like, it's like, this is so fucking stupid. Why am I feeling this way? Like I'm having such a great time. I was like enjoying like the hike, the scenery, everything, until like we started going back up, and I was panting, and my heart rate was going crazy. And as soon as we finally made it to the top, which is like the location where like the landing area where everybody congregates and eats and gets their souvenirs. After we were once there, like I was out of shape, man. I was fucking completely out of shape, and I think it was also because of my blood pressure. The elevation fucked with fucked with fucked with me, and I think I had like a mini panic attack. And I googled it, because I had to know. I googled, does having high blood pressure and going to high elevation mess with your blood pressure? And it totally does. And it's like, yeah, like they gave me like Google's totally like gave me this description where it made sense. But as soon as I got down, as soon as we left, so since this was on a Sunday night, and we had no idea this was going to happen. One of the things that calmed me down was seeing the lunar eclipse. We were coming down, and it was night. It was getting night. It was the sun was going down, and everything was all dark, and you could see like the moon slowly, like the sun blocking out, the 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 earth. So he's giving the shadow on the moon. It was like we didn't know, and it was very like romantic. It was like it it's just like the feel that like everything's bigger than you. You know what I mean? And as we were going down, and it was like it's just a perfect view for to cap a somewhat okay okay experience over there, minus that mini panic attack. But I did enjoy my time there, and I just need to get myself back in better shape. Uh, because I let myself go a little bit, and I actually got this membership at the gym, so now I'm swimming. And yesterday I went swimming for the first time in well forever. I mean, like I actually like not went in the pool just to mess around, but actually I did laps. I did like around like 15 laps, not consecutively, but like I did, like I could feel it. Like the next day, like it felt I could feel my muscles all sore. So after this update, I'm gonna go back to the gym and just go for a little bit, just so I could keep my body, so I could lose that fucking weight. Oh, hey guys, yeah, like Ariana's like, hey buddy, loved it. Deb, thanks guys for commenting. And but yeah, like that was what I didn't like about Palm Springs is that I didn't like the high prices. Like it was really really expensive. Like I saw this pillowcase that like it had like it was a typewriter. Like it was like the logo was a typewriter. And I wanted to get it because it was just like a regular pillow, right? And I looked at the price tag and it was $79. Like, hot potato. I dropped it. I was like, nope, that's not for me, man. And it was just everything was like that. Like all these knickknacks in these stores were high, like really expensive. We saw this alien statue, like a mini alien statue of a gray, and it was $325 for the small one, and it was 400 for the larger one. So it was nah, it is once we win the lottery, like I'll go on a shopping spree over there. But they had a lot of cute knickknacks, a lot of cute stuff over there in Palm Springs, and they had like a lot of antique stores, which we went antiquing. And I think that's kind of like a requirement if you're a gay man to go antiquing, because I enjoy it. It's really cool to see all these retro stuff, all these furnitures from like 40 years ago, 60 years ago. And there was this one camera that was from 1906. It was like this, it had like a wood, it was all wooden. It was just cool. It's like a museum. Did you see the Marilyn Monroe statue? I did see the Marilyn Monroe statue, and we took a photo of it, and I don't think we posted it up yet. I don't think so. But yeah, we did go. We saw it, and we also saw the I Love Lucy statue, and another statue that I can't remember. But yeah, we saw the landmarks over there because we had plenty of time. Um, let's see. So since we got back from Palm Springs, we got back the other day. I was like Tuesday. Yeah, got back on Monday, and we just all we did was just watch TV. We was like, we'll worry about the laundry later, and I joined the gym when we got back, because like the whole like gasping for air on the way back up was like, it's like, all right, time to get my ass in the gym again. But yeah, like it was coming back is it sucks. I wish I was on permanent vacation with unlimited money, but who doesn't, right? So we got back and we started watching our shows, and I don't know if you guys seen this show. It was called the Outer Range. I kind of spaced it, but yeah, the Outer Range has James Brolin, the guy who plays Thanos. Yeah, it's kind of like, think of the Outer Limits. It's a sci-fi movie. It takes place at this ranch in Wyoming, and there's these two families, like a feuding family, of course, right? And the main character, which is you guys see him right there, he has this hole in the middle of his ranch, and it's just like a just a large hole, like a perfect cylinder, just like in the ground. It's just all dark, and without, of course, like going into the show, you don't know what it is, but it's a sci-fi show, and it turns out, just to give you like a cliff note, that this hole takes anybody who goes into it, goes either back in time or goes into the future, and it's not certain that you'll come back to where you were from, as like the time you were from. And of course, the one of the feuding family knows, the head guy from that family knows about that plot, the hole in that land. And it's really good, like, for me to go on to talk about it. It's going to ruin the whole show, but I'm saying, like, if you guys love sci-fi, you guys love this show. It's not the greatest sci-fi show that I've ever seen in my entire life. I would give this a B, but still, it's still entertaining. Like every time they talk about like the side story, all I want to know is about like the main story, which is what the hell's going on with this hole that go travel that takes you back in time. That's what I want to know. But it has that one of the characters from Schitt's Creek. He's in it. David's husband. He's in that show, and he plays like this cowboy, and he loves to sing. He sings like almost in every episode. And you guys should, again, if you guys love sci-fi, watch The Outer Range. It's now streaming on Amazon Plus. And so let's go to this other show that I've been watching that I just discovered on Monday, because I was seeing a lot of commercials during my trip to Palm Springs, and the show I'm talking about is called The Offer. And you guys are saying, it's like, whoa, what's that show about? Well, the offer is a story about the filmmakers who made The Godfather, mainly the main producer Al. I can't remember his last name, but his name is Albert. But he worked for the Rand Corporation, and he's the guy who created Hogan's Heroes. And it's his story how he was that they tasked him to produce The Godfather. And it's so cool, man. If you love movies, you're gonna love The Offer, because it tells you it's the whole like old school Hollywood. It takes place in Paramount Pictures back like in the 19 well, like in the late 1960s, early 70s. And Robert Evans, he's like the head honcho of Paramount Pictures back at the time, and he's right at the heels of the movie that was really successful, which was Rosemary's Baby and Love Story. He produced those two stories for Paramount, which made a lot of money for Paramount Pictures. So he was like their golden child, and like which is crazy about like Robert Evans is that he has no film background. Like he sold pants, and he one time he was just chilling at the Beverly Hills hotel by the pool, and there's this actress, and she spotted him just sunbathing, and is like, "You have a look that you could. I'm going to cast you in the movie that I'm in." And he got casted playing this Manador for one of Ernest Hemingway's novels that he wrote. And Robert Evans wrote this book called "The Kid Stays in the Picture," and the reason they called it "The Kid Stays in the Picture" is because they wanted to fire him from his first movie role because he wasn't a good actor. He was just like he was a salesman, but he saw the telegram, and he studied his lines, and he nailed it. Like once they stayed the action, and he performed, and then the director said, "Cut." The kid stays in the picture, which is he saved his ass by really like concentrating on the role. So that's why he named the title of "The Kid Stays in the Pictures" as experience of working as the head honcho of Paramount Pictures. And the actor who plays Robert Evans, it's like dead on, like his mannerisms, his like inflections, like just the way I could see him. And like the actor who plays Mario Pizzo, that's great. Like it's the story of how he also wrote The Godfather, because he was like a failed novelist, and none of his stories were selling. And he was in debt with these two loan sharks, and his wife, he's telling him, it's like, how much do we owe? And he says like, we owe a little over $5,000. And she gets up from the table, like, you got to start writing. Go to your room and start writing. It's like, well, what do I write about? It's like, write about the mafia. Write about what you know. It's like, and then they have this back and forth. They have this conversation, and he gets the idea to write The Godfather. And the rest, the way people say, is history. Again, if you guys love Hollywood, and you'll love this you'll love The Offer. I'm barely on episode 2. I finished episode 2. I'm going to be in episode 3, but it's a limited series right now, streaming on Paramount Plus. Don't miss it. But another thing that went on during this week is the UFO Congress had a UFO hearing on Monday, and it was nothing new. It was just like a giant tease. It's just the guys were talking to Congress. They gave 400 testimonies from the Air Force, the military people, of their experiences of seeing and capturing on camera objects that they can't identify. And they said that these flying crafts, they're not manned. They're like, it almost seems like drones that are using technology that we had no idea how it's being done. and they're not saying that it's aliens, but they're not. They don't. They also don't. They also know that it can't be our adversaries too, because they, there's no way it defies the laws of physics, and they just want to find out the root cause, what's going on, like who has this technology, because it poses a military threat. And of course, if you fuck with military, regardless if you're ET or not, they want to know, what the fuck. But yeah, like after they were done with the hearings, they kicked the public out, and they had to close hearings behind the closed doors. And who knows what they were talking about, while the news reporters and the public wasn't there. Maybe they were actually talking about the UFOs, right? Like the aliens. But yeah, it wasn't. This is the first hearing since General Ford did he let the first hearings of a legit Congress hearing about UFOs. So it hasn't been since like the 60s. So it's been a while, and it's a lot of people in the conspiracy theory world, they're saying like, this is it, man. They're getting us ready. Get ready for this false flag coming from the sky, man. But yeah, it's we'll see what happens. There's again, it was just like a giant teaser. There's nothing that we don't already know. Let's see what else. Well, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching me tonight for my midweek update back from my Palm Springs vacation. Also, we are working hard to secure our next interview for Casually Christian. We just had to coordinate the time, the day. It's right now because finally, like, life is getting kind of back to normal. uh, People are busy now, so we just need to get the right timing for the next episode of Casually Christian. But once we do, I'll let you guys know. And if you guys haven't already, please like, subscribe, and smash that notification bell to catch the latest episodes of Casually Christian. And also, if you guys can, just go to our Spotify platform and follow us. Just share it with your friends and family, or listen to one of the episodes of Casually Christian. So until next time, guys, I hope you have a good one. We're almost close to the weekend, and I hope you guys have a good night. And I'll see you guys next time. Okay, bye. Thanks for watching.